Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours, with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and this you join me in is the slightly grubby but rather wonderful Rover 220 Coupe the Tomcat, which is here in the barn of broken dreams in need of a little more attention. Recently we did a head gasket and timing belt change on this thing, so it now runs perfectly. I haven't actually MOT'd it yet because it's just the run up to winter and I wasn't planning on using it, but there is a Tomcat Owners Club thing in January, so I'm going to have to MOT it fairly soon. But because that's a kind of a driving type day, I need to do something to make this thing drive better, because this car suffers with the curse, the Achilles heel, the scourge of the PG1 gearbox, and that is the flippity-floppity gear change. This is throwing a wand through custard. It's so slack and vague and all over the place. It's like driving a Mark I Range Rover from the 70s. You have to put the passenger side window down to go into first. It's just so all over the place. Fortunately though, there is a relatively easy and very quick solution to this. And this comes from Discount MG Rover Spares and Dark Ice Designs, and it's a two-part solution. First of all, there is the rubber bush, which is now, I'm thinking, a polyurethane bush, which sits underneath the gear shifter and it kind of controls where the rods go. There's one which screws to the bottom of the floor. I'll take it out of it because that'll make it much easier to see rather than looking through a plastic bag. First of all, there is this. There are three holes. The two vertical ones go up into the chassis of the car, and the one in the middle is what one of the roddy bits passes through, and that kind of controls its movement. And the other one, this big cotton reel bobbin thing, and sits on the end of a bit of roddy stuff and controls its position. That is the PG1 gear linkage polyurethane bush set if you go to the DMGRS website. Not sponsored video. This is the actual linkage kit, because this metal linkage falls to pieces. It goes really slack and worn and horrible, and it's no good to man the beast, as they say. It comprises of two things. First of all, we've got a stainless steel recreation of the original, which is far, far stronger, won't corrode, won't rust. Got all new nuts, bolts, rubber bushes and fittings. And secondly, we've got a fitting kit, so you're not on your own in the dark, scrabbling around under the car trying to work out how to do it, because that would leave you a bit scared. Right, so let's get underneath the car and try and figure this one out. By the way, if you want to find this on the website, this is the PG1 Universal Joint, code number F.UNI.001, but PG1 Universal Joint basically fits pretty much any Rover with a PG1 gearbox, as does this thing. For the both kits, it's about 50 or 60 quid, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of money. And considering it makes the car, I wouldn't say undrivable, but certainly a lot less fun. The joy of a sports car with, The joy of a sports car with a manual gearbox is, it's just so interactive and so part of you, and you flick it through corners, drop a gear and just go, you're part of the car, you're one with the machine, all that kind of stuff. When you've got a floppy-dopply gearbox that you can't find third in, that stops it being fun. So this is going to make this car so much more funnable. Yeah, funnable's the word, I said that. You might have noticed this car's quite low, so we're going to have to go for the old driving the car onto blocks of wood to get a jack underneath it method. Right, as I'm quite keen not to get squashed, there's various things holding the car up to keep it nice and safe, and here is the thing we need to undo. This is the odd kind of bridge-shaped item that goes behind these two bolts just there. So naturally, and it kind of goes almost without saying, the first bolt I've got to reach is on the wrong side of the exhaust pipe. So reaching that is going to be interesting. A 10mm on a 3/8 does the trick. It goes literally up there where you can't get to it, because of course it does. With a super long extension bar I can get to the other one quite easily. Now will it undo is the question. Oh yes it will, who knew? Right, oh I didn't even had it there a second ago. So I've got a wobbly one, a UJ type one. Oh, come on. Sometimes they're just too dang floppy. So I can wheedle it past the exhaust pipe. Yes, there we go, it's free. One bolt, there's the other bolt. There's yet another of those really easy jobs where I've started off with just a couple of spanners and things. I've wound up with half the entire toolbox under the car just for one bolt, just because the exhaust pipe is in the way. This should then come off the end of that. Oops, I've got Tema gloves, these are nice gloves. Oh, the car isn't really high enough to get both hands on it. which is kind of awkward. There we go, off. Right, there you go, that is the old bit, which I'll now try and work out how to disassemble. I think it just kind of pulls, yeah, it just pulls apart. So there, we can give that a little clean up. If I had more stuff over here, including paint, I would paint it right now, but I don't, so I shan't. There we go. It is interesting, the old one is a wibbly wobbly rubber thing, but it's got metal inserts and little prong holes in the end for the metal to grip into. This new one is fully polyurethane, so it's much, much stiffer and grippier. Right, got to get it on first of all, that's the first challenge. Right, it's proving difficult to get back on because there's a lip on the end of the poly thing. I've pulled it off and it does not want to come undone. Oh, there goes the gear stick. So I thought I'd slacken this down a bit. Oh, that might make it a bit easier because I can then get a hammer on that. Get on there. Doing so and so. I should have thought of this sooner. It's the old boiling water in a mug of, well, water drick to soften the thing up. Anything that's a rubbery or polyurethane-y bushy thing that won't go in, get it warm, get it soft, and it'll hopefully go on a little bit easier. Not necessarily a lot easier, but a little bit easier. And so boiling water for a minute or two might do the trick. Come on then, let's give it a go. Come on. Ow. I've got room to move onto this thing to make it happen. Ouch. It can't make it over that lip. What I definitely didn't do is cut the widened end off with an angle grinder, because that's very bad and what you should definitely not do ever. Definitely didn't do that. Now I just need to put us back together again, the little washery things that go on the end. Get that through there. And what I'm going to find in a second is that I've got the gear shift rotated 180 degrees, so nothing's pointing in the right direction. I should probably go and check that in a second before I go too far, because this is actually quite tricky. Oh, I can't rotate out of it. This is really, really quite difficult to move under here. And one little thing we mustn't forget to do is to push in those little metal inserts from the old one, so that the screws don't just keep on screwing and screwing, because it's not a solid thing, it's only rubber after all. So I'll hammer that through in a sec. So these are the ones we have to push out to make sure we reuse them again. There we go, that is the bridge piece done at the end. Now I just need to go down in front of the car, because I've got the top hatty type shape piece that goes on over there somewhere in the distance. I do also have, I obviously noticed that this here is quite badly gone, but I'm not quite sure how on earth I would get this off the bottom of there. I don't know if I can bolt both of these off and then that will separate out. I need to look into that at some point in the near future. Although if I do stick a short shift kit on there, that will make the whole thing redundant. Well, this end is an awful lot easier, as it's just a simple 10mm socket or bolt just here to undo and then replace that big red bush with it. Now I might have to try and move the jacks around to get better access here at the front. Right, got a bit more height, I can actually see what I'm doing now. There we go. Fortunately, it's been covered in oil for absolutely ages, so it should come out quite easily. And in fact, taking this control rod off will actually give us better access to the next bit we want to do, which is that knuckly thing there. Now, I always pay attention to how things come apart. That dish is in like that, and the dish on this side goes like that. Oh, that's floppy. That's why we're changing it. Okay. Now, I've no idea how you get this thing out, because that is... Okay. More to the point, am I going to get it back in again? Question I'm pretty sure I thought of before I started. Well, that's actually falling apart, so this is a good time to be changing this. Well, that'll make it easier to come out, won't it, if it's not in one piece. There we go. That comes out easy. And this, I had to go away and get an angle grinder, because apparently, I didn't realise this, I pretty sure I read the book before I started, you actually don't unbolt these, you cut these off with a grinder. But look at the play in that. No wonder the gear shift is so sloppy and horrible. That all needs a good clean up before I do any more, because I'm getting filthy just looking at it. Right, okay, so that will not go back in there, because that is thick, hard polyurethane rubber. So it's soaking in a boiling, freshly boiled cup of hot water over there. This one, it said to take photos of the orientation because it goes back together, or it is sitting not evenly. You've got to make sure you've got the long and the short ends the same way around as when you take it off. So we've got the short, flatter end, more right angle-y, facing downwards and over to the passenger side. So try and remember that when it goes back together. Then what we need to do is get the grinder and cut the ends off these bits. Right, let's get a punch. The pin decided it wasn't going to come out. I decided it was coming out one way or another. Right, so I've soaked it in hot water, so it's in theory a little bit soft. But trying to keep it in place while I'm manoeuvring it is not proving easy. So let's tighten it in with a zip tie. I'm not going to be able to wrench it all the way in with the zip ties, but I can at least locate it, and then I can try and squeeze it through with this would be difficult if it was on a workbench, but lying under a car it is 1,000 times harder. Nearly, no, but not quite. In fact, not even close. Ha! Done it. Got your so and so. Pretty much in there. Oh, it's come out again. Oh, you son of a goat. So confident. I was so confident I had it then. Ah, stupid thing. I had too early the last time. Now I'm harrying for real now. Ha! Beat you, yes, so and so. The trick was keep it in place with the cable ties, then use a screwdriver to kind of wrangle it into place, and then finally press it through with the mole grips, or vice grips if you're in America. Anyway, it wasn't fun. Won't plan on doing that one again in a hurry if I can avoid that. Here's where I discover I put it in the wrong way around and I've got to do it all again right now. Mrs. Furious just rung a second ago to ask where I was, and I have to explain I was an hour into a 5-minute job. Done. Phew. That's the easy bit. Now for the tricky one. Right, so the old one is now out of there. No longer part of it. It's on the floor in bits over here. And so I can get the new one, and hopefully that'll be a nice quick job to put it back in together. I will, though, give that a quick clean up, though, because it's all sticky and nasty and full of goop. And no one likes working in sticky, nasty, full of goop areas. I've actually got new grease to put in these things, so I'll clean these out, ready for the new grease. Okay, this is the new shiny stainless steel version of the old one, which hopefully won't have loads of slop in it like the old one did. These little, I don't know what you call them, little top hat things need to be greased up and pushed into the metal tubes inside the car. So we'll do that now. Now let's check which one goes where, because apparently they're different sizes. That was a snug fit on that one, and a loose fit on that one. So that one goes in there. So let's give it a bit of a grease up. Right, so that's squeezed in there. Do you remember I said the shorter, flatter side goes at the bottom and towards the passenger side? Oh, I need my squeezy thing again. My squeezy cheesy peas. They're squeezy, they're cheesy, they're mole grips. So why will that not fit on there anymore? Okay, that's something to come back to in a second. All good, I expect, probably. It's not good at all, it's bad. I think the answer is basically just give it a really good squeeze. What I had to do, it's very, very tight indeed, is actually mount it with one of the old ones at the top and the new one at the bottom, because it just was not going to go through otherwise. I'm mounting it with the bolt coming down, so if the nut does fall off, I do still keep
some gear shift, rather than if it's the other way around and the bolt falls out, then you lose everything straight away. Let's gooble up the ends of this thing so it slides in nice and easy. Google is of course an actual word. Don't believe me? Check my dictionary because it's in there. Not because I wrote it in there, honestly. Oh, it fitted a minute ago. Why don't you fit now? Come on, don't be a pain in the bum ski. Oh, I love cars. Cars are so much fun. Oh, great. Literally fitted a minute ago. No, it doesn't fit. There we go. There we go. Now I just need to just button it all up and we are done. We've got a proper gear shift on this car again. Like when it was new. And you tell what, you can really tell this car has had an oil leak because it is absolutely caked everywhere. The next thing is to get underneath here, give it a really good clean up and then a really good wax. Right, let's go and do some tightening malarkey on this thing. Bear with, back in a moment. The book doesn't give a specific instruction for how tight to do these up. It just says do them sufficiently tight, but not too tight, because if you do it too tight, then your gear shift gets awkwardly, unpleasantly tight. So, bit of trial and error, I guess. Right, and then we finish up with our little friend here. All right, please just do up. That's all I want from you is to do up, then I can go home and have dinner. That's lined up, so why won't you do up? That's not long enough. It's not, is it? It's not long enough. There's an element of hammering to be done. I didn't realise that. Don't forget the element of hammering. And maybe it will fit. That looks more promising. Where's the 10mm gone? Where's the socket driver gone? Honestly, there were moments during this thing I really thought I was going to be walking home. You know what I mean? Not walking home, but at least putting the thing back on the floor unfinished. There we go, that's better. Oh, I did for a second think I put that bush on back to front. There we go. Okay, that's going nowhere. Right, now the big question is, does the gear shift feel better now, or does it even work? First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Reverse, excellent. And that feels way better, even just here on the jacks. I need to take this for a run around the farmyard. Right, the proof of the pudding being in the eating. Let's see how we go. Clutch down, slightly noisy clutch release bearing in this car. That goes in nice and easy. It does feel a lot tighter already. Right, okay, so in the open air, outside the barn, I tell you, it is so tight. There's so much less slack and play in that. That is amazing. Really, really dark around here now. Like, surprisingly dark. No, that's brilliant. Let's get back into reverse again. Literally clouds of dust falling off this car right now. Oh, so much better. You can kind of feel the gears as you move the shifter from one to the next. It is night and day over how it was before. Third gear, oh man, that's so good. Reverse just drops in. Oh, this is amazing. This is how this car needs to be. I need to do all of my PG1 cars now. This is, okay, it's a bit of a faff because it's just a bit inaccessible, but really, I've got to go and do all of my cars because that's just so much better. All right, MOT for this car next week, I think. Let's find 50 quid from somewhere.
and get it MOT'd. Right, let's put it away. Well, that's a good result, isn't it? We planned to do a job, we did the job, and now the job is done. This is surprisingly unusual for a furious driving video, because so often it ends in disaster, but no. Today we have got a fully functioning Rover 220 Coupe, I was going to call it 220 Coupe. The Tomcat is back on its wheels with a fully functioning gear shift. That's the best that gear shift has functioned in the entire time I've had this car, because as long as I've had it, it's been a bit sloppy and it's gradually got worse and worse over time. And considering that is basically an afternoon's work to sort that out, there's really no reason not to. I got these bits from DMGRS, discount DMGRS spares. And yeah, the 2 packs, I think it's like £25 for one or £19 for one, and about 25 or 30 for the other, so it's not big money. It really is absolutely 100% worth doing, and I'm so glad I did it. So yeah, result, happy days. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please hit like and of course subscribe. And if you do buy any stuff from DMGRS, just mention that you saw the bits on here. They're not sponsoring this video, but you know. Rightio, thank you for watching. Join us again next time, fixing something completely different.